All right, we're going to jump right into the Joticle Startup Competitor Guide. We're going to touch on uh, blockchain, and this is a big topic. We're really looking at show you the landscape right now across custody, wallet, and digital asset services, exchanges, mining. These are all the components that are making up the blockchain landscape and all the players within it. This is courtesy of CB Insights for posting this up on the internet. Thank you very much. So part of our organizational structure here is to get into replicating a market map for all these specific segments. And in this case, we're going to have to blockchain. So we've broken it down. If you look at some of what we've done with custody and wallet so far, you've got your Amber, your Anchorage Digital. There's plenty more. This is if you are a startup or a custody wallet or DAS digital asset service. Feel free to follow this process and list your company as well. We really want to give everybody the biggest snapshot possible of what's going on in these particular blockchain segments because, well, that's what we do here at Joticle. We're here to educate. This isn't a listing service to list something. It's really want to educate people who the players on the market, where they can find the resources, where they can really dive in and have success when they're really trying to dive into a topic. Just reading an article about what blockchain is doesn't explain what's going on in blockchain, who the players are. I'm not a blockchain expert, but there's enough surface level content to get people inspired and to talk about it. And where I start with every topic when I dive into it is I start with who are the players. And usually their language trickles down into my being able to piece together things. And then what they present and share through their walkthroughs, through their tutorials, through their anything that they provide content-wise, that's where I get my education. So really, we want to build on the first step, and that's identifying the players. And so that's what we're doing with this startup competitor guide. Is we're saying I want to know as a startup who my competition is, and I'm in blockchain. Well, this is one way of doing it, and then it extends past that in other learning pods that are focused on blockchain education. Right now, we're focusing on as if you're a startup. So we'll dive later in some other video on the details of blockchain and get some expert opinion to jump in as well. As it stands right now, I'm going to show you our process. And so I'm basically going to go after Bitwise as an example. They are on this map here that I brought up, or that disappeared on me, of course, because I shut it down. There we go. So Bitwise is right here in the competitor map. I usually will look to see if they've been acquired, if they've been turned into something else, because these things happen so quickly. So really keep the list fresh. We have people that actually monitor the content that we have as it's growing. We require more people to do that, but that's fine. It's a good problem to have. So here we go. I'm going to create a job. I'm in the blockchain learning pod. How did I get there? Well, I went to the startup guide. This isn't the startup. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I am doing blockchain in the startup competitor guide. I am not doing a blockchain learning pod yet. It's on the site, but it hasn't been filled out yet. And there's people that are going to work on that, and we're putting all that together, content partnerships and whatnot. Where we're starting at here again is with the startup competitor guide. So I typed that in, startup, blah, 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 let me right here. It's pretty easy to find. If you go on the homepage and you look at trending pods, this one's a buzz next to the Ming Dynasty and anime right now. So if I click on it, here I am, boom, I'm at the Startup Competitor Guide Learning Pod. So I'm focused on blockchain, and in this case, we're looking at the customer wallet, custody wallet, digital asset services. I can now create a JOT, and you have to be not a subscriber. You have to be logged in. Right now, all I have to do is be logged in. It's going to become a subscription service to be a content provider. For now, it's free, so get on that. Create JOT. Automatically populates where I'm at on the site, so it makes sure it gets to the right learning pod. And I'm going to click where I want it to show, which is in the digital asset service. And then I'm going to add Bitwise as my company name, if I can spell correctly. All right, so then usually what I'll do is I'll go and I'll find their About Us. And You know, when people post their own, that's a whole different ballgame. I'm doing this as an example to show you, to give you some background information on Bitwise. And then what I like to do is include the website and the LinkedIn. The sound of my mechanical keyboard. All right, so I got their website up, so I'm just going to copy their link. And then I'm going to go back to the Jot, type it in. You have to hit enter to get the little link to show up. It's a glitch we're working on. This link will be formatted to say external link. I'll show you that in a second. And then I want to get their link, their LinkedIn account in there so they're easy to find and you can do some more research on them. The idea here is to give a surface level, not go into detail. Now, you can pay for paywalls and all this crazy stuff to do a lot of research that you can really kind of grunt work your own, as long as you just know you're in the right sector and you're looking in the right piece of that sector to get the information you need. Being able to break down a company after that, you can do without having to pay a ton of money. Unless you're an investor. In this case, I use this for a pitch deck model. This comes from when I was frustrated putting together our competitor slide for our pitch deck and just trying to really narrow down who I thought our competitors were. And there's these market maps that are out there, and most of them that I find on Google. Unfortunately, with Google, every piece of information seems to be from years ago, and there's nothing fresh. And that's just the way it is. I mean, there's 2012 market map showing up. And so every single competitor is like friggin' useless, and it drives me nuts. Excuse my non-language language. So anyway, I want to get into, I've got everything set up, and then I also previously kind of already saved their logo. And I'm going to append their logo. Every Jot needs a cover, otherwise it defaults to this blue thing, and it just doesn't look cool. It means you didn't put your time into creating your Jot. So this is the process of creating a Jot. I am creating this in the Start a Competitor Guide for blockchain under digital assets. So here we go. I hit share the Jot, and it is now that in the mix. So we're now in the mix, and these can actually lead to other learning pods. There's some Jots out there about a new blockchain is. So these are other Jots that are out there under cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency Learning Pod is just being brought into fruition, so to speak. And so we're looking for partners to provide digital content. We want to provide a learning experience. This isn't Twitter where you posted a meme or anything like that. This is usable educational information. And some of it is in the overview section, you're going to run into some things that are fun and not necessarily educational, but we believe that they add some value in the fact that, understanding some of the quirks aren't always education, but knowing them is always kind of cool just for, coffee talk. So that aside, I'm going to go back to my startup learning pod, our competitor guide, boom. And if you look at the very bottom, it shows the latest Jots that have been posted. So there's Bitwise. And if I click on that one, there it is. And those are the external links formatted. And I have all the information that I need to present myself, if I was Bitwise, to someone who's researching the custody wallet sector portion of blockchain. So there you have it in a nutshell. This is a growing list daily. We want to add some features and functionality to it. But what we really want to do is provide free information that helps you learn about your segment without having to go through a paywall or have to go through all these hurdles like creating an account. You don't have to create an account to use Joticle. It's when you really want to engage, become part of the gamification, the reward system, and the other features and the value adds that it provides. But to actually use it as a tool to research and discover, it's absolutely free. And so that's where we start right now. And I'll do some more on other blockchain stuff as it develops. I just wanted to give this example for the Startup Competitor Guide. And there we go. Thanks.